Hey there, you know when you want to talk about your weekend or what you do for fun, but the English words just don't come out right? Well, that's exactly what we're tackling today. We're going to get you talking about your life, your time off, and all the fun stuff supernaturally.
I mean, we all need some time off, right? Maybe for you, that's something adventurous, or maybe it's just chilling out with a good book. Whatever it is, we all have our own routines, our own favorite things to do. And that's the good stuff, you know? The things we actually want to talk about with other people.
But yeah, how do you talk about it in English? That's the million-dollar question, right? How do you make it sound, well, not like you're reading from a textbook? The good news is, it's probably way easier than you think.
So here's the game plan. First, we're going to look at a super simple rule for routines. Then, we'll spice things up by talking about how often you do stuff. After that, we'll get into the fun vocabulary for your hobbies. And to finish it all off, we're going to put it all together so you can have a real conversation. Sound good? Let's dive in.
All right, first things first, we gotta build the foundation. And to talk about your everyday life, your routines, there's one main tool you need. It's called the present simple.
So what is that exactly? It's really simple. You use the present simple to talk about things that are generally true, like facts, and for your habits and routines. Pretty much, it's the tense you use for your normal, everyday life. Easy peasy.
And check this out. For I, you, we, and they, the rule is just ridiculously easy. If you're saying something positive, you just use the verb as is. I work. We live. If it's negative, you just pop don't in front of it. I don't work. We don't live. That's literally it. So simple.
Okay, let's look at a couple of real examples. For a positive statement, a fact. I live in Newcastle. Boom, simple. For a negative one, something you don't do, I don't go swimming. See? It's just that same easy pattern over and over.
All right, so we've got the basic sentence structure down pat. But let's be real, it's a little plain. How do we add some personality? This is where it gets interesting. We're going to add detail about how often we do things, using these cool little words called adverbs of frequency.
Yeah, this is a perfect way to picture it. Think of it like a slider or a scale. At one end, you've got 100%, that's always. At the other end, 0%, that's never. And all those other super useful words like usually, often, and sometimes, they just fall somewhere in between. Make sense, right?
Let's just run through the big five. Listen and maybe even say them out loud with me. We've got always, usually, often, sometimes, and never. Got them? Awesome. These little words are what's going to make your sentences so much more descriptive.
So, the big question is, where do you put these words in a sentence? Here's the pro tip. The most natural place is right before the main verb. So you'd say, we sometimes run. It just sounds better, you know? It flows. That's a really handy little trick to remember.
Okay, so we've got the grammar sorted, we've got the frequency words. Now for the really fun part, the topics themselves. Let's talk about the words you need for your hobbies and all the stuff you do in your free time.
So here's a quick list of some common ones. You might be into playing golf or going to the cinema. Or maybe you're more of an active person and you like swimming, running, or going to the gym. And hey, who doesn't like watching TV or cooking? See anything on this list that's you?
You know, seeing it like this really helps, doesn't it? When you see this image, your brain can make a direct connection to the phrase, we go windsurfing. It just helps that vocabulary stick in your head so much better.
Okay, it's time for the grand finale. We've got all the building blocks, so for our last section, let's put it all together and see how it works in an actual conversation. Let's do this.
Honestly, just think of it like a super simple three-step recipe. Step 1, you pick your person, I or we. Step 2, you add how often you do it, let's pick usually. And step 3, you add the hobby, go to the gym. Slap them all together, and what do you get? I usually go to the gym. A perfect, totally natural sentence.
All right, let's try a little role play. Imagine I ask you this. Do you go out on Fridays? How would you answer? Think about that three-step recipe we just talked about.
Here's a great example of a natural answer. You could say, yes, I do. I usually go out. See that? You've got the person, I, the frequency, usually, and the activity, go out. It all just fits together perfectly. It just sounds right. So, I'm going to leave you with one last question to chew on. Your turn. Using everything we've just gone over, what's something you always do on Saturdays? Give it some thought. Seriously, the more you practice building these little sentences, the easier and more natural it's going to get. You've got this.